I'm going to talk about selective gradient masking in this part of the tutorial. Selective gradient masking is a technique that I've developed myself. Basically, it's a technique with two applications. One is to merge a part of an image with another part of another image, and do that in a very smooth way. And another application of that is to, instead of, let's say, dodging and burning parts of the image, which is quite time-consuming, a very extensive work, you can also do that with this technique. I'm going to demonstrate it later in this tutorial. But first I'm going to demonstrate it by merging one part of another image to another image. So for this example I'm going to use these two files. It's my Zealand bridge shot. This is the neutral black and white converted version, and this is the high key converted version of the same Zealand bridge. So what I want to do is to use the water of this image, which is lighter than the water of this image, and I want to merge that into this image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to put it on top of the high key version. So I'm going to the high key version now. So what you see here is the neutral version on top of the high key version. So now I want to merge the water of this version into the layer on top. So I'm going to add a mask. Then I'm going to load the selection that I've created before. I've created a selection of the bridge only. So now I'm going to invert the selection. Inverse. So now I'm going to merge this the high key water into this image, and because I want to keep the somehow darker sky of this image, I'm going to do that using the gradient tool. This one. I'm going to make sure that it's set on the linear gradient tool, the normal gradient. So I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to stop somewhere just a few inches above the horizon line, like this. Well, you can do it even more accurately, so I'm going to do it again. Well, it should be more straight, something like this. So if you would look at the mask mode, then you would see something like this. I can also enlarge it, so you would see a subtle transition from the water to the sky. So I'm going back to the normal mode. So this is what you see. Well, it can be more accurate, but it's just to demonstrate it for this tutorial. But this way it's very easy to merge parts of another image into another image again. So that's one application of the selective gradient masking technique. The second example of the gradient masking technique, selective gradient masking technique, is something that I developed myself. Because what I did before I developed this technique was, for example, if I want to highlight parts of this image, let's say the water here, then what I usually would do is something like using the dodging and burning tool, and well, started dodging this, then burning that part. Well, and I had to do this for hours in a row, and even then it wouldn't be a very nice dodging and burning activity, because you would always see that I've burned or dodged something in this image. It doesn't look very natural. So I've developed this selective gradient masking technique, so I could highlight, let's say, only this part of the image, and make sure that, at the same time, make sure that the transition from the darker parts of the image to the lighter part of the image would look very smooth, very natural. So I'm going to demonstrate this with this image. I'm going to duplicate a layer here. So I'm going to add a mask to the layer on top. I'm going to deactivate the layer on top. Now I'm going to play with the curves tool for the bottom layer, the background layer. I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Curves. Now I'm going to play a little bit with the curves, and we'll take a look at the water. So to make it brighter, so I think this is something I would like to have. Okay. So now I'm going to activate the top layer again, because this is the original image. And I'm going to stand on the mask. Now I'm going to use the gradient tool again, but now I'm going to use the reflected gradient tool, this one. And I'm going to add a band of light somewhere around here. So you see, there's some highlights over here, and it didn't take me much time to apply the highlights over here. And I can even make it look more natural. I have to duplicate this layer first. Going to remove this mask because I don't need that one. So I'm going to deactivate this one. So now I'm going to apply the layer mask, merge it down, duplicate the layer again, and put it on top. So what I have here is the new version on top, and the original version is the layer just below that one. So I want to restore parts of this layer into this layer. So the transition from light to dark would even look more natural. So I'm going to add a mask to the layer on top. And now I'm going to use the gradient tool again. And this time I'm going to use the linear gradient tool, the normal gradient tool. I'm going to add or restore some parts of the image from the second layer back into this final layer, like this. So you see, what you see here is well, parts of the original image that has been restored. I'm going to do that again for the other side of the image. Apply a layer mask first, then I'm going to add a new layer mask. I'm going to do the same thing again from this side, like this. So what you see here is the highlights that I've created here, and it looks very, very natural. So you don't see any lines and any traces of incorrect dodging or burning, but just a very nice highlight over here. So that's the second application of the selective gradient masking technique. This is the very basic selective gradient masking technique, which I call SGM. In the next tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate the ISGM technique, which stands for iterative selective gradient masking, and I mostly apply that on architectural images.